Oh, no wonder. I'm only at 60%. Holy Christ. Alright, well, I'll have to plug the tablet in so I'll have some outro music. Well, look who's here. Ron's here. Linda's here. Broadcasting live from the basement storeroom of station WDWL TV. It's the pride of the station and the pride of the show and the pride of the janitorial staff and the pride of the parking lot attendants. That's me because nobody's been here. The grumpy old man. Yep. The place has been like a ghost town. I gotta plug the tablet in because I forgot to charge it last night. Let's see, am I plugged in now? Are we charging? Yeah, okay, I got a lightning bolt. That's good. So... nothing like having goddamn boomers until 3:30 in the morning, and every now and then somebody will set another one off. I was going to walk up and down the street, see how many craters there were in front lawns. Because I'm sure there's some somewhere. And every now and then, just for fun, everybody relaxes, and then boom, scares the shit out of everybody. Every time Boots falls asleep, somebody sets another one off. What's that there, Ron Bozoid? Holy shit. Call EMS. I'm going to need CPR. I guarantee you didn't take it at 2 p.m. No, they quit at 2 a.m. Yeah. They went till almost 3:30 here. Irritated the shit out of me. Poor cat. Wouldn't come out from underneath the bed. I was even bribing him with cat treats. And you know he's scared when he won't come out for a cat treat. You know, I wish I could afford a box of them big boomers. Because what I would do is I would wait until the idiots went to bed, and then I would go right underneath their bedroom window and set one off and see how they liked it. You didn't have any fireworks at all? Don't they celebrate 4th of July where you live? Although, I have noticed more and more cities are doing away with fireworks shows. Or 2 or 3 cities will combine together to do one. I would probably think due to the expense, not to mention, you got to pay the fire department overtime, you got to pay EMS overtime, you got to pay the police overtime. Because I've noticed we've had a couple of suburbs where they combine. It'll be a dual city fireworks. That way, it only costs each city 50%. You can't smoke in public in Tempe? I never heard of anything like that. You mean the city passed up? You can't smoke anywhere in the city? What if you're driving through in your car? Cop sees you with a cigarette in your mouth, he pulls you over and gives you a ticket for smoking in the city? Unbelievable. Oh, now, that would be bullshit. Because if you own your fucking house, the city can't tell you what to do inside your house. They can tell you what you can and can't do outside. That's bullshit there. The whole city council is probably all reformed smokers because they're worse. There's nothing worse than a reformed smoker. I can't see why that wasn't challenged in the Supreme Court. Telling you can't smoke in your own house. Next thing they're telling you, what, you can't walk around in your underwear in your own house. It's a citywide ordinance. Right, Linda, that's going way too far. I can understand outside, especially if you own the property. Nobody can tell you what you can and can't do inside your own goddamn house. And if the microphone, I made some adjustments on it. I'm hoping that it's loud enough because I can't, it's too hot to wear these. Water flows out of my ears like a faucet. No wonder I forgot to take my ear stud out. I was only like, what the hell's poking me in the side of the goddamn head? Forgot to take my stud out. I only wear it occasionally. I've never heard of that, but and that's bullshit. That's like these goddamn HOAs. I hear some of the rules of some of these HOAs, and I'm like, I could see, not painting your house purple and blue, but some of them, they tell you you can only hang out certain kind of hanging baskets, and if I'm making the mortgage payment on that fucking house, you ain't going to tell me what I'm going to do in my house. That's because it's a different microphone. That's like my friends. You're not allowed, get this, you're not allowed to have your car parked in your own driveway between 11 o'clock at night and 6 in the morning. Your own driveway. I'm not talking on the street. I was like, bullshit. What if you got 3 cars? Where are you going to put the third one? Up your ass? I told her, I says, one day make a copy of your HOA rules and send them to me. There was one, as a matter of fact, luckily, this was a friend of a friend. They were able to get a hold of the HOA rules before they bought the house. And it dictated to the point of what kind of curtains you could have in your front windows. And they looked at that and they told the real estate agent, fuck this place, forget it. Wait, nope. And they were ready to sign to make a bid on the house, and then they were like, tell you what kind of drapes you can and can't have. I would never live in a development with a homeowners association. Although, my buddy and his wife, they think it's the greatest thing on earth because, all the shrubs are the same kind and the same size, and all the lawns are cut. They have a lawn service that comes in and cuts them. And I said, like, the whole development is like fucking vanilla. I said, the last thing, it would be like living in a sterile society. You can only have certain kind of hanging baskets and bullshit. If I want to put out a hanging basket full of goddamn weeds, that's on me. I read an article not that long ago about HOAs. And it was like living in a goddamn prison. Oh yeah, because they pay $500 a half, $1,000 a year per home into this HOA. And yeah, I can see lawn service and snow removal, but there's 55 houses in this cluster, they call it. And they're all 55 and older. And some of the rules that she was telling me, I was like, I'm making a mortgage payment on a house and you're going to tell me I can't put a forsythia bush in my front yard? Yeah, she wanted to put a forsythia, and I can't remember what, and it was, what do they call them goddamn, I call them snowball bushes. They get big, huge snowball flowers. Like, she wanted to put a forsythia on one side corner of the house and one of them snowball. Nope, not allowed. That's right, Linda. If you're out in the country, it's country. I went out a couple of times. They invited me out for dinner. And they took me for a drive around the cluster, which I call a clusterfuck. And it was so sterile because every house looked identical. I was like, God forbid somebody come home drunk one night, they'd pull in the wrong driveway. Yeah, what do they call him? All I ever known him as Snowball Bush. And you know the neat thing? I had one at my house up the street. You can change the color. You start out with a white one. And you gotta wait until it's like 2 years old. Then you drive a couple pieces of copper wire into the roots, and the next year it comes out red. Then, if you don't care for the red, you drive a couple pieces of zinc into the roots, and the next year it comes out blue. Unfortunately, you can never get it to go back to white. Okay, hydrangea. I've called it a snowball bush. And the nurseries know, because if you call it a snowball bush, they sell you a hydrangea. Because I had 3. one on this side of the porch, one in front of the porch, and one on this side of the porch. And the one in the front, I changed colors. And my neighbor was like, I didn't see you dig up and plant a new hydrangea. I was like, no, I just changed the color. And I read that in a gardening magazine. But unfortunately, you can't ever turn it back white. But you can take a white one and change color if you don't like the white one. Linda's down in the country. Well, Kathy's kind of in the country too, where you can have I always remember in the movies, under the bougainvillea. Does anybody plant bougainvillea anymore? I can't remember what movie that line was. We'll meet under the bougainvillea. Good thing they both knew what the hell bougainvillea was. Me, I'd be wandering all over the place. I don't know where I'm going to meet. That's like a friend of mine's got a house a couple suburbs over. And it's got a porch that goes all the way around the house. No matter where you go, you sit on the porch. It circles the whole house. And he's got ivy. And the ivy has grown all the way around and looks cool to me. I like it. It's the only house I've ever seen that had a porch that goes all the way around the house. So as the sun moves, you can move and sit in the shade, or vice versa. And it's strange, it's the only house in the whole area that's got a porch that goes all the way around. And the house dates back to like the late 1800s. Because it's got a pump, a well in the kitchen. Now, they have updated all the plumbing in the house, but it's kind of neat because it still works. So, you can either have well water or you can have city water. That's about the only change that they made in the kitchen, was the installation of a faucet and city water. But the pump is still there. It's kind of cool. Although I've never tasted the water, but she just uses it to water her house plants. But God damn, I'm thinking just about everything in that house is original, except for they did build an indoor bathroom. because there was an outhouse. But the cabinets, everything's from the house was originally built. Matter of fact, the electrician had a bitch of a time fishing wire. And all the light switches are inconspicuous. It's not like you walk in your kitchen, there's a wall plate. Because they wanted to keep everything looking like the 1830s or whenever the house was built. Because the house has a slate roof. And anytime they were tearing a house down, they went and bought all the slate that they could save, and they got piles of it in case a piece breaks or something on the roof. Oh, the house is neat. And she's kept the motif like that. Matter of fact, she had some seamstress make, because the curtains were really nasty. The original curtains, and it is neat. I think that pump is cool in the kitchen. A little mini one is kind of cute. Got a little handle on it. Did you rinse your beans? I never had kidney beans in salad. Now I've had 3 bean salad, but never put kidney beans in regular salad. A friend of mine puts black beans on her salad. I was like, ugh. But to each his own. Yeah, I picked up a can of garbanzos when I was at the store today. So I'll have my garbanzo beans in my salad tonight. And I picked up some hearts of romaine. What else did I get? Oh, some more cheese. And another bottle of blue cheese dressing. I'm really enjoying the salads. Although, who wants to cook? And Christ, it's still 88 right now when it's goddamn 7:30. Yeah, same thing. One ethnicity calls them garbanzo beans, and another one calls them chickpeas. And if you put them in your food processor with some oil and grind them up, you make hummus. because my buddy's daughter is hung up on hummus, and she makes her own. She gets a can of garbanzo beans, throws them in the food processor. She'll put some well, she made some with roasted red pepper the other day. And $103. Oh boy. I forgot to check the weather for tomorrow. My pieces of exhaust system finally came in at awful zone, so I can extend my muffler. But I got to get it done before Tuesday, because I don't want to be driving in Parma with it as loud as it is. This way I take it back and it'll exit right in front of the back wheel instead of under the door. Oh, wonderful. They're saying 92 for tomorrow. Oh, boy. And Monday, 80. Both days with a chance of showers. $75 in Tennessee. That's comfortable. I would trade 88 for 75 right now. And it was funny. Oh. I'm not used to doing it without a headphone. I'm in the line getting ready to check out, okay? And there's a guy in front of me. Well, Tennessee and Alabama having the same kind of weather. And I would have said he's probably around my age. And in walks this young girl, and she stops at the service desk, asks a question, and then the guy at the service desk was pointing, so she turns around. Now, she had ink up and down the front and back of her arms, and ink under her neck, and ink across her midsection, and ink down the back and front of her legs. And he turns to me and says exactly what I was thinking. He said, "You think she ever wonders what all them tattoos are going to look like when she's 70 years old and saggy?" And I just bust up laughing. I said, "You know, that was what I was thinking too." I don't know what... I don't mind a few tasteful tattoos on a female. But when they have them all over, it's disgusting. And I would like to ask a boyfriend or a husband, does that turn you on? What are you studying, Kathy? What are you looking to get your degree in? I would like to ask a boyfriend, did you walk up to her and say, "Oh baby, I love your ink. I want to date you"? I'd like to see what his parents look like when he walk in the door with Miss Ink from head to toe. You could write a book, Kathy, about how I was standing in a Hungarian meat market, and next thing you know, the asshole appeared on YouTube. Entitled the book, "What the Hell Was I Thinking?" Oh, no degree. Okay. I thought maybe you was going after a college degree like in English or something. That's like for the last I think about 6 months now, my buddy's daughter has been writing her thesis for her PhD. She's got research books like up to the ceiling. One of these days I'm going to ask her what she's getting her PhD in. I think she's got every book the library has. Man, I looked in her room and it was just books everywhere, and they got 9,000 pieces of paper in them marking certain sections. Well, if it works for you, good, 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 good. They say writing is basically the best therapy. I guess that's why girls always write diaries. Although I don't know if they do anymore. Well, they put their life online now. Back in the day, when I was going to school, girls had their diaries and had them little itty bitty keys, to lock their diary. Well, Kathy, you got the perfect subject right here. If anybody's abnormal, I can imagine my appointment on I think it's the 17th with my shrink. He'll go, tell me about your parents again. Boy, he's hung up on that. Wait till I tell him I'm doing a body donation. He'll be like, oh boy. Yeah, I can't wait to see the look on his face. Tell him I finalized all the paperwork. Well, Kathy, when it comes to that part, start writing about me. And then people won't wonder why you didn't finish about you. Boy, I'll tell you, I was just kind of scanning different things on YouTube today. And I thought social media was bad as far as Faceplant and Toctic and Slapchat. God, people, they lay their life out on YouTube. I was like, oh, Jesus. My medication actually got here somewhat early. It left the hospital at 9 a.m. It arrived here at 5:15. I asked the guy, did they hire any more drivers? He said, nobody wants to work for our company. I didn't want to hold him up because he still had a shitload of deliveries, but it must be a real shitty outfit to work for. His delivery vehicle was a Nissan Juke. It looked like a giant bug with radiation blisters. Ugliest looking car I ever saw. Okay, the ears are sweating. It just feels real strange not having the headset on. Actually, where is my... I'll have to look. Where my... I can wear my little earbuds. I'll have to find them in the morning. You think so, Kathy? Well, Linda, that's like this outfit that Temu uses now to deliver packages. GoFo Express. They're all Asian, and they hardly speak English. Like the guy that delivered last week. I says, "Oh, you GoFo Express? GoFo." Okay. Here, package. Hold on. Click, click. Here, package. I tend to think that this outfit probably is not really great with the pay, and probably not great with paying a mileage. Because everybody uses their own car with this outfit. The one they had before, they had vans. Them four little ones, them little Transit Connects, the ones I really like, that they don't sell in America anymore. They had a whole fleet of them. This outfit, everybody has to drive their own car. So I tend to think they're cheap. You know, if it wasn't that I know people are waiting for their medication, I would like to ask the guy, well, what's wrong with this outfit? What don't you like, you know? And I've never seen the same person twice, or the same vehicle twice. But that Nissan today is... I looked, I said, Juke. And the front end, the way the headlights are, and then it's got some goofy little lights on top of the fenders, they look like radiation blisters. Car looked like it was designed in a wind tunnel. And you know, car manufacturers, the cars that you see today, the 2025s, were basically, the design was finalized 5 years previous. Now you would think, before they finalize the design, like on that Juke, they would have went, wait a minute, this can't be right. Yeah. And then the guy that approved it, approved. Must have been after a weekend of drinking when he come in on a Monday and went, oh, that car looks pretty good. Then when they start rolling off the assembly line, he was like, what was I thinking? Go, yeah, you guys, you're in them Gulf states, and they roll in a boat about 3 in the morning, and nobody sees them. That's like a couple months back, I was watching the Border Patrol was chasing some illegals that come across the border, New Mexico. And right there, the border town, it's all safe houses. So if they can get away from the Border Patrol, all they got to do is knock on the door. Come on in. Okay, close the door. Shut the lights off. But you also have to look at it from this point. If we didn't have illegal aliens, we wouldn't have fruit and vegetables. Because Americans don't mind growing them, but boy, Americans don't want to pick them. I mean, really, when you come down to it, all them big farms are owned by, good old flag-waving Americans, but when it comes harvest time, they're like, we ain't picking that shit. So in a way, somewhat you have to appreciate the illegal aliens, otherwise you wouldn't have fruit and vegetables in the store. Yeah, Linda, I'd be nervous as hell if I had them living all around you. There'd be 3 or 4 deadbolts on each of my door. Bars on the windows. Big high pressure fire hose. That's what I like about the British. They get somebody rioting the street, they pull out the water cannons. Yeah, well, yeah, they bring it across the border. Well, unfortunately, it's true. We don't mind growing all that our crops, but we don't want to pick them. Oh, that's manual labor. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get close to any of them for fear of catching something that's incurable. Because the only time they get a bath is when they're crossing the Rio Grande River. That's like when these coyotes walk them through the desert, and then the old border patrol catches them after they've been walking for like 2 weeks. I can imagine how bad they smell. I feel sorry for the border patrol guys. Oh, God. Can you imagine what them people smell like? Then they pack them all in a van. Poor border patrol guys are gagging. Ugh. Well, it was interesting in the store today. Walking down the canned goods aisle, everybody had mentioned, oh, did you see Del Monte filed for bankruptcy? The whole canned good aisle, everyone was talking. And then one of the women was saying that it looks like good old Dead Lobster is going to be filing pretty soon. I don't know how Dead Lobster has been able to hang on for as long as they have. God, they've gone in and out of bankruptcy several times. Although I haven't been to Dead Lobster in years. Me and my buddy used to go when they had the all-you-can-eat shrimp special. And finally got to the point the manager said, hey, you guys, about time you left. Well, we ain't eaten all we could eat. And the manager was like, yes, you have. All right, Kathy, put your thinking cap on. What was the name of that really inexpensive steak restaurant? There used to be a chain, and you could go in there and have a steak dinner for like $4. I'm trying to think of the name of it. You're angry today. What did I do? Uh-oh. That's it. Sizzler. Yeah, I couldn't. Oh, God, I got to write that down because I'll forget. Sizzler. All right, Kathy, what did I do to piss you off? I used to like Sizzler. You could go in there and get a hell of a meal for like $5. And the steaks weren't that bad. They weren't that good, but they weren't that bad. Holy shit. Really? Did they catch the asshole? Is this the EMT? What? Did they arrest the asshole? Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. Is somebody in jail with no bond today? Jesus Christ. Well, you got a right to be angry. I thought it was something I did. No! What the hell kind of police force you have down there? Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I hope that relationship is over. Oh, that's bullshit. Good old boy network. That's a crock of shit. Well, I hope the relationship is over and done with. I hope she didn't sleep in her car. Did she come over to your house? You know, more goddamn arguments start over fucking cell phone bills. Jesus. Absolutely asinine. God, it's interesting because last night I was watching A Murder in My Village, and a guy killed his girlfriend over the same fucking thing because she wanted him to pay his own cell phone bill. She wasn't allowed to come to your house. Why not? If I'm getting too personal, just tell me to butt out. That's bullshit. Well, if they didn't arrest her, why couldn't she go with you? It makes no sense. Well, at least you got the kids out of there. Too bad they had to see that bullshit, though. Sad when the kids get in the middle of that stuff. Mm. I hate hearing shit like that. Makes my blood boil. Alright, calm down. The veins are sticking out of the head. Well, I gotta shave my head tomorrow. Good, Kathy. You do that. Names and badge numbers. Then make a formal complaint to the fucking mayor. Because you know the police chief will sweep it under the rug. Gee, that's like Meow Mix came out with a new dry cat food. And it says it has Vitality Bites. I can't wait till my fatso bites into them and see if it invigorates him. Maybe he'll quit bringing SpongeBob SquarePants in my bed every night. I wake up this morning, there's 2 SpongeBobs and a fish with a feather tail. I don't know where that was the first time I ever saw one. Looks like a fish with feathers for a tail. I don't know where he's finding these. I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Then I look over and there's one SpongeBob and another SpongeBob. I was going to bring one in. Oh, damn it. Tomorrow. I'll bring one in and show everybody. SpongeBob SquarePants. That's like Temu had cat toys on sale. Although cat toys made in China you should wonder about. So I ordered this carp. I took it out of the package. I threw it at him. He looked at it. He looked at me. He was like, I ain't playing with that fucking thing. And hasn't touched it. But where this fish with feather tail came from. I'd never seen this one. I don't know where that was hiding. But it was in the bed next to me. Because he gets up and he goes in and out of the bedroom at night. In and out, in and out. Matter of fact, I'll bring the SpongeBob in now, the carp that I got him. No, it's not a carp. What the hell? It was some other kind of fish. I threw it down. I ain't touching that. So I picked it up and I threw it at him again. He looked at it. I ain't touching that. And he hasn't. I wasted $2. Although being made in China, who knows what's stuffed inside of it. Goddamn cat. Matter of fact, it's still laying in the same place on the bedroom floor. He'll walk around it. Won't touch it. Almost as bad as that goddamn compressed sawdust catnip ball. Now it said compressed with 100,000 pounds per square inch, lasts a lifetime. Lasted 2 weeks. Sawdust everywhere. I wanted to gather all the sawdust up, put it back in the package, and say I got a defective one. It disintegrated. So much for 100,000 pounds per square inch. Oh, wait a minute. I hear air brakes. Let me take a look. Whoa, the big one again tonight. The big one. This makes 4 nights in a row he's brought that monster home. Although I have to say one thing. These new semis, I don't even hear this thing start. It is so quiet. Unbelievable. But it's huge. Really huge. The only thing I hear is the backup alarm will go off a couple of times. But I don't hear it run. I don't know how they managed to quiet them down. But it's huge. It could probably lift up a house. Let's hope so for $500,000. God, not like back in the day when the towing company I worked for had a brand new 1970 Ford F7000 with a Holmes 850 them old manual wreckers. He was like, man, it cost me $65,000. We were all like, holy shit. I hated doing heavy recovery with that thing. Oh, man. It worked you to death. Not like today's truck thing. They have a remote control and they push buttons. And no, you were grabbing winch levers. Yeah, it's amazing. He gets out with a remote control. Cable lines out. Wheel lift comes down. Not back in the day. God, I was a ball busting with them old trucks. Matter of fact, I told him one day, I said, I was driving wrecker before your parents even thought of you. He just looked at me. No habla English. Okay. Cleveland don't say shit about them. People park on their fucking front lawns. I mean, it's disgusting. I drive up and down the street and there's cars parked in front yard. Get this, Kathy. Up the street, there was a car parked for 2 months, left wheels to the curb, and expired 30-day tag. 2 months, never moved, left wheels to the curb. They finally towed it the other day. Somebody must have finally bitched. But people park on their grass. Cops drive by. They don't care. Now, I could see if it was some old dump truck. You ought to see this thing. Flashy red paint and about $100,000 worth of chrome. But he'd been doing it for years. And he's not on the Cleveland towing list. I could see, no, they don't say a word. This don't bother me. Cars parked on your front lawn, that bothers me. Matter of fact, the consulate's tired of hearing from me. Oh, I'll tell you what. He likes his chrome. And he's got these things over the lug nuts. They're like spears. The one day I was walking past the truck, I was like, whoa. You could get gored on them things. And they're always spotless. One thing, he's proud of his equipment. And he spends big money on equipment. Whether it be a 1-ton wrecker or a flatbed or Godzilla out here, they're gorgeous. Always spotless, clean, shitload of chrome. I think he's got a couple of guys hired just to polish chrome. That's why it don't bother me. Not to mention you can't hear it. These new diesels are unbelievably quiet. Now he's got one that's one step down from this. This one's the big Peterbilt. The step down one is international. But just as pretty. Red with a shitload of chrome. And he only keeps them a couple years. And then in comes a new one. Like Godzilla out here. I think Godzilla's only about 6 months old. But I'm sure it could pull a house off its foundation. It is big. Really big. I'll have to see if he let me take some pictures one day. You know, the interesting thing is, I asked him one day, does he tow for any auto clubs? Well, he don't do AAA. But he tows for every, and everybody's got an auto, you know, Geico's got every insurance company. Well, through AARP, I've got Allstate Motor Club. That's the only one he don't tow for. I did just my luck. Not to mention several trucking fleets. That's why he needs Godzilla. Well, and he's got a big auto repair shop too. I still got to talk to him about taking my RAV4. I got to get it running. Because I can't, you know, once I get the Passat over here, I can't drive it till after January, so I got to have that RAV4. With the shit that I drive, I always got to have a backup vehicle. Although the Passat is, everybody's going to look at me and go, Grumpy, it's not a piece of shit. I can't wait to get it over here just to rub it out, buff it up, wax it. Then everybody really look at me and go, holy Christ, something wrong with you? It's not a piece of junk. Yeah, but it's 25 years old. Exempt from the E-check, the emissions inspection. That's why I only drive 25-year-old vehicles. Because I don't have to go through the emissions inspection. I just walk in and go, give me my sticker. The girl looking at it, where's your green form? Did you look at the title? Oh, sorry. Here you go. Matter of fact, I didn't realize, since the RAV4 ain't been running, good thing I looked. I forgot to put the sticker on it. And I forgot to put my handicap tag in the window. Something I have to do tomorrow. Yeah, I was going through papers at the end of the desk, and I was like, what the hell's this? I go, whoa! I don't know why I forgot to put the sticker on it. Maybe because it wasn't running. Yeah, I'll have to tell him. Please flatbed my RAV4 down to the shop. Because being a 4x4, you have to flatbed it. You can't tow it with a tow truck. Unless you use dollies, and you'll just bring home one of the small flatbeds and drag it up on there. Although I'll tell you what, I feel sorry for him in the winter. He's working like 24/7 in the winter. But, you know, when you have a business like that, you gotta commit to it. Believe me, I had enough 24-hour businesses. I don't want none no more. When I had the ambulance business, that wasn't too bad, because I did a lot of patient transfers. When I signed up to work for the coroner's office, I was like, don't people pass away at normal hours? No. Or get called to a homicide 2:30 in the morning. And that was the days before all the fancy forensics like today, you know. Those were the days when they took a piece of chalk and they just made an outline on the pavement. Oh yeah, I mean, you take like firemen, EMTs, they're going. Yeah, I feel sorry for the EMTs, you know, they no sooner lay down, get a call, gotta go again. Now see, like in Cleveland, they work 24 on, 48 off. 24 on, 48 off. Now, some cities, they work like 7 days straight and then 14 days off, and 7 days. It all depends on how. Because my brother-in-law was a fireman for 28 years. And Cleveland worked 24/48. My brother-in-law actually made it to assistant chief. And when the chief retired, they wanted to make him chief, and he went, nah, too much bullshit. I'm going to retire too. And he did. Being assistant chief wasn't bad. Being chief, you had all that fucking politics to put up with, and he said, nope. I appreciate the offer, but I'm putting in for my retirement. I told him, he's just to say he was chief of the Cleveland Fire Department, he should have worked for like 6 months and then retired. Because he could have retired chief. But I think he would have had to stay a mandatory year, and he said he couldn't put up with all the fucking politics for a year. And I feel sorry for the police department because I think we're only working at a 70% capacity. Nobody wants to be a cop. Although I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to be one today. Not to mention, back in the day, you didn't need a goddamn college degree. I could have got it on back in the 70s because my buddy, who was a Cleveland police officer, his father was liaison to the chief. And I could have got in like through the back door. Here's a uniform, here's a badge. Go out to the range, practice a little bit. Raise your right hand. Now go. Okay. I would have wanted to get into the motorcycle unit because they ride their bikes home. But as much as I wanted to, I don't regret not doing it. You know, if I couldn't have got into the motorcycle unit, I would like to got into the traffic unit. I wouldn't want to do neighborhood patrol like these guys. There's something walking on my roof. Mountain lion. I hope the deer come back this fall. Although it was cute last week seeing that little Bambi running around in that field. Then it spotted me and went, holy fuck, I'm out of here. Back into the trees it ran. I got out with my cell phone. I just go to take a picture, and it turns around, looks at me, and goes, whoa! I wanted to get a picture of the little cute thing with its spots. It was having a gale time. It was jumping up and down and running in circles, and I get my camera, my cell phone out, and it turns and looks at me and went, holy shit! It was up by the post office. I wonder if maybe that was the mother that got scared away from here, you know. Would have been cute to see that little thing bebopping around my backyard. Because you know it would have been here for at least 3 months. Oh well, maybe this year. That's why I haven't gone back and cut the shrubbery back there. They like crawling under that big shrub. And they like sleeping underneath Marianne's red Japanese maple. No peaches this year. So in the spring, she's going to give it a good trimming. That'll bring the deer back for sure. Oh, okay, Linda. He sent me a picture of himself with, what is it, Fiona? I think a Fiona. Well, see, part of the problem, Linda, is Marianne rented her house out when she was living down in Virginia. And the guy didn't do nothing. and the tree kind of got out of control. If you're listening, Ron, my cat is bigger than your dog. Just to let you know that. My cat is bigger than your Fiona. I feel sorry for him because he's still got his, it's strange. He hasn't lost his winter coat. Usually, thank God, usually sheds, oh God. In the spring when he sheds, I could scoop up enough fur and make another cat. Well, you have to send me a picture of your cat. You'll appreciate this, Ron. There's this guy, he's got a chihuahua that's about this big. And the guy is like 6'11". Matter of fact, his shoe is bigger than the dog. And he walks it up and down the street. And it's hilarious. See this big, tall guy and there's a chihuahua that's about this big. I laugh my ass off when I see him go by. I was like, oh man. You'd think a guy like that would have a fucking Great Dane. I think that Chihuahua could fit in his pocket. I'd be embarrassed to be walking that thing. I thought one day he was walking a kitten. Then it barked. Well, it went, yip. I was like, oh my God, it's a chihuahua. But it looks hilarious. This big guy, a little itty bitty dog. I gotta put a patch on tonight. Ugh. Yeah. My cat's right outside the door. I can see there's no light under the door, so I know he's laying there waiting for his delectables. Yeah, I went up. I got his delectables. I got his dry food with Vitality Bites. Oh boy. And cat treats. Matter of fact, the girl at cash register went, "Do you have any food on your list?" I said, "Yeah, look a little lower where it says salad and cheese and all you have is cat food." "Yeah, I gotta take care of my buddy." I showed him the shirt. He could care less. He looked at it. I'm like, "What do you want me to do? I can't wear that." I was like, "Yeah, but you're on the shirt." "Does the shirt have a cat treat?" "No." "Nah, I don't want to look at the shirt." So Fiona just about full grown then. Well, it gives the cat something to knock around. "Quit your barking." That's the way. That's the way it was when my buddy had his. Oh, what the hell was that dog? He had a Maine Coon. Oh, what the hell was that dog? Lopsided asshole. And the dog would start to bark, and the Maine Coon get up and smack. It was hilarious. Somebody knock at the door. The dog would start to bark. And the cat would come out and give him a whack up alongside the head. And the dog would go in the other room. That cat could be sound asleep on the bed. That dog would start to bark at the door. The cat would run out and give it a smack. And nobody taught it to do that. It was hilarious. One day we were sitting having a cup of coffee and the dog started barking. He goes, "Watch this." Next thing you know, the cat come in the kitchen, whack! Give that dog a whack along the side of the head, and then the cat went back to bed. Oh, jeez. There's a combination. Trying to think, my buddy's daughter had she called it a schnoodle. I'm pretty sure that's what she said it was, a schnoodle. I never heard of a schnoodle. Yeah, that Maine Coon was a riot. That cat could be sound asleep. And that goddamn dog would bark, and that cat would run in, give it a whack, and then go back to sleep. But just to hit it once, poof, and then leave. And the dog would stop barking. I guess it didn't want the cat to whack again. Although the goddamn Maine Coon was like 4 times the size of that lopsided asshole. Animals are hilarious. Like mine with its SpongeBob SquarePants cat toys. Brings them in for me. I don't play with them. Well, yeah, I'm almost positive she called it a schnoodle. But I don't know what the hell it was crossed with. A schnoodle. Oh yeah, that Maine Coon was 4 times the size of that dog. But it was hilarious. The dog would bark. That cat could be sound asleep. It'd run out, give the dog a whack up alongside the head, and then just go back on. I'm going to have to call my buddy. I'm pretty sure she said it was a schnoodle. I never heard of it either, but that's what she said it was, a schnoodle. Maybe she was just fucking with me. I'm going to have to call him and see if she was just screwing with me. Well, we're charged up. It's that time, peoples. Salad time, music time. Well, it charged up to 60%. Okay. Here tomorrow night. Take care, everybody.